When I got words for it, so probably the biggest thing that really changed my life was the synchronicities that started to happen after that. And I moved back out to Colorado when I was well enough, and then my mom kind of bribed me to move back to the Northeast and go into my dad's business.
Mm-hmm.
One day I was sitting in my apartment and someone knocked on the door, and I got up and answered it, and it was the sister of a friend of mine from Colorado, someone who I had mentioned my experience to.
Mm-hmm.
So a big part of my experience, I had no idea what to think of it. This amazing thing happened, and it was like, so what? I needed to get back to work basically and make money. And so I didn't know how to describe it, but I mentioned it to a couple of people. Most people back then did not want to hear about it, and it was best to not talk about it.
Really?
But I mentioned it to this woman, and then her sister showed up at my house and said, my my sister told me some interesting things about you, and right away she said, "I know someone who teaches about what happens after we die, and I want to introduce you to him."
Mm.
So she did, and I ended up studying with him for about 10 years. But one time in one of the classes I was in with him, he started to talk to me about Jesus and Mary. First Mary, and he said how open Mary was to God's love. And as soon as he said that, I go, that's what I experienced, that feeling that just felt so nice. And then when he mentioned Jesus, it was like in my mind, I knew that that was Jesus behind me.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting.
And
So,
it still rings true. And still, I say it again, I get all these tingles in my body. And, it's
yeah,
so true for me. Yeah.
yeah. So, how did you kind of begin your journey? So you said you started studying, yeah,
I,
with this gentleman. Who was this gentleman?
he was a Sufi sheikh in the Mevlevi dervishes.
Mm-hmm.
Mevlevis follow the teachings of Jalaluddin Rumi.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, looking, I just really follow my heart, but looking back, it was, I was a Jewish guy from, upper middle class Westchester, New York, and this was an Islamic teacher, and I had no qualms. As soon as that woman mentioned him to me, I knew I would have to meet him.